I moved here in late autumn. The road into this town is a thin, winding line. Trees with bare branches bend low over the asphalt. They look like old men stooping to share a secret. The house itself is small. It sits near the edge of a vast, quiet lake. By day, the water is as still as a sheet of dark glass. The air carries the scent of cold water and sweet decay of fallen leaves. I came here seeking quiet. I needed a place to write my book. More than anything, I wanted to be completely, utterly alone. I thought this was the perfect place for that. I was wrong. That first night I unpacked under the weak glow of a single lamp. I heard a soft sound. I dismissed it as the wind. But then it came again. A voice, a whisper, saying my name. I thought I was alone that night, until I heard myself screaming from the lake. The third night, I could not stay inside. The whispers had grown more frequent, more insistent. Fear and curiosity pulled me toward the source. The cold air hit my face, sharp and biting. Thick, heavy mist sat low over the water, moving like a sleeping giant's breath. I could not see much. The lake a polished mirror, stones wet beneath me, fog at my ankles. Cold, wet, only natural night sounds. For a while. Then the voice came again, closer. Michael. Clearer. Rising from just beneath the surface. The air grew instantly colder. My heart hammered. Who is there? My voice sounded small and weak. Silence. I found the small digital recorder in my pocket. I had meant it for notes and ideas, not this. I decided I needed proof. I pressed the red button. A tiny light pulsed, a small, artificial heartbeat. I spoke my name into the dark, just to mark the file. The lake held the sound, absorbed it without echo. Minutes stretched like hours. Cold seeped into my bones. I doubted myself. Maybe this was all in my head. About to give up. Then I heard it again. A whisper, saturated with a wet echo, like from a long water-filled tunnel. It said my name, pleading. I almost dropped the device. I snatched it up and hit stop, then ran without looking back. Inside, I locked the door and set the recorder on the counter. At first, only the wind, a low whoosh on the tiny mic. Then the soft water, the crunch of my boots, my marker, my name. I leaned closer, straining for anything else. The whisper was faint, undeniably there. It said my name. It sounded exactly like me. Cold dread washed over me. The pitch was mine, the intonation mine, even the tiny crack I get when I'm tired. But it was softer, weaker, begging. Then clearer. Help me. I dropped the recorder, shaking. I peered out. For a moment, the reflection moved wrong. My shape turned when I did not. Prank? Neighbor? Kids with a tape? A bird? No. I knew my voice. Its exact flaws and breaths. In the morning, I called the police. They were polite, patient. They walked the perimeter. No sign of anyone. No footprints but mine. No boat tracks. He asked if I'd been drinking. I had not. They listened in their car. They were quiet a long time, then traded a look I couldn't read. They could send it to a lab, they said, but a lab shows only waves on a graph. It could not prove a voice under the water. They suggested stress, rest. They left me with the lake and the voice in my pocket. Nights got worse. The whispers started at twilight, sometimes angry, sometimes exhausted. Soon I heard them by day, woven like threads into the air. I lied. I cut work short and drove home, drawn back against my will. I thought about leaving. I packed a bag twice and stopped at the door. The air smelled of rain and something older. The lake sat waiting. I could hear them even then, far, then suddenly at my neck. One night, I stopped fighting. I sat and listened. I decided to engage. I asked what it wanted from me. After a long silence, the voice returned in my contemplative tone. Come down. Come home. The mimicry was terrifyingly perfect. It copied my rhythms, my stops and starts, my upward lilt when I ask a question. It copied my warmth, my anxiety, my fear. It felt like a recording of my soul. It knew me better than I knew myself. I began to think of the voice as a part of me, waiting under the surface. The thought made my stomach drop. In the end, curiosity and resignation outweighed fear. I walked to the water. The surface looked like black glass with a thin, oily skin. I listened one last time. It sounded like me, and something else. Far away, lost in a vast chamber. "Help me," it said, weak and small. Did it want saving or company? I put my hand into the cold, black water. The cold shocked me, clean and final. It did not feel like water. It felt like a grip. Fog swirled around my face, swallowing my breath. The last thing I heard was not from the recorder. It was my own voice from far beneath, echoing up, trying to climb an invisible ladder of air and sound. I can't get out. The lake kept its dark mirror. The little house stayed empty and still. The small recorder smelled of damp earth and rotting reeds. Inside it, a thin, wavering line, a soft splash, and then a long, unending silence.